welcome to season 2. Prostate Cancer, my story. Episode 9. Today's episode is featuring Lonnie Van Horn. Lonnie comes to us today from his hometown in Indiana. Let's get to know Lonnie.
My name is Lonnie Van Horn. I am 53 years old. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I have been battling prostate cancer 6 years tomorrow. I work part-time. I am a field manager for a merchandising company. So I basically oversee, a few dozen field workers. We just go around retail stores and set product and that kind of things.
So, Lonnie, tell us how this journey began for you.
I had my biopsy completed by a urologist, and I met the urologist in his office in the Indiana University Hospital downtown here. And he's the one that informed me that I had prostate cancer and it was terminal. And at this point, we hadn't even done any scans or anything. It was just the biopsy. It was so bad. But he did do a PSA with it. But I was immediately in shock. He told me that, and he said that, oncology was on their way up to talk to me at that moment. And, the first, I was in shock. I don't even remember driving home that day. I don't remember driving home. It's traumatic when you hear things like that. And, and once we did scans and stuff, like they found tumors all over my body and that kind of thing. But, I within a couple of weeks when my shock had worn off, I became pretty matter of fact that I was going to make some changes and make some decisions that were the best for me and do what I needed to do to prolong the inevitable as long as I could. Um, my perspective on a lot of things changed that day. And I tell people, and a lot of people, like to hear, my story. And I kind of tell people I actually became a man that day.
Why do you say that?
Just because I think that the important things in life really became to the forefront of my life and my vision and my goals. Um, I've always had the same kind of personality, but there comes when you're facing your own mortality, your perspective changes on a lot of things, and having petty arguments is it becomes like ridiculous, and so I really these days I focus on the important things in life, at least to me. And I lead with love, and I'm a changed individual over what I was 6 years ago, for sure. So yeah, it was. I came out of the gate. They diagnosed me at stage 4 terminal right out of the gate. I had a PSA of 685. Yes, and a Gleason score of 9. So very aggressive form of it. I have been really fighting to keep it at bay for the last 6 years. I was fortunate enough to get on a clinical trial that worked really, really well for me. I responded really well to it for 3 years, and it really kept it at bay. I was kicked off the clinical trial because I had some new cancer growing in a couple of spots. So now we're just kind of doing a watch and wait and see what works and what doesn't. And I'm down to a couple of options, treatment options. So I'll have to make a choice on those very soon. I don't know. I have a couple of months to decide what I'm going to do with those last two treatments. One of them, my oncologist says, has a 20% chance to be effective on my cancer. And then the second one, which is chemo, has a 30% chance of being effective. So I'm going to have to pick one of those. I don't know what I'm going to do because I initially refused chemotherapy 6 years ago. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll make the decision. I have a couple of months yet to make that
You don't
decision.
do nothing. How long will they say it lasts?
I asked him, not, I think it was in February or something like that. What am I looking at? And he said, like with treatment, you're looking at up to 18 months, and without treatment, you're looking at, maybe a year at the most. So, and it's always been a quality over quantity.
Lonnie, what has the last 6 years taught you? What experience that you feel you've gained wisdom on?
More so, I think I advocate for the mental health side of it than anything else, because I do believe that mental health part of cancer in general is the most overlooked thing about this journey. So I advocate for mental health awareness, seeing a therapist, uh, learning coping strategies with anxiety and depression. I'm an advocate for all of that. And I know there's a stigma out there that men, can't deal with emotion and they don't like to talk about them and they don't like to see therapists. But it's so important. I truly believe that mental health is half the battle here. The decisions are, and to be honest, again, I'll circle back around to the mental health part of it. And I started seeing a therapist 2, 3 years ago, and I'm a firm believer that if my mind wasn't right, I wouldn't be able to make the correct decision. I will never give up. Um, I tell people all the time, like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to lose my battle to cancer. I'm not. It's going to be a mutual ass kicking at least. So,
Yeah, I like that. You remind me of Stuart Scott saying something similar like that.
When you die, that does not mean that you lose to cancer. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live.
Yeah, but so what do you? So what would you tell the audience if they were sitting here, men? What would you tell them? What would you? One thing that you could only tell them one thing and think that it would actually be absorbed. What would be that one thing?
don't be me.
What does that mean?
Talk to your doctor early. I was diagnosed at 47 years old. Talk to your doctor at starting at 40 years old. Have a conversation with your doctor about it. It's very treatable in its early stages. Very treatable. Um, just to talk to your doctor. Don't be afraid to talk to your doctor. Don't be me. I'm advocating for men to start having a conversation with their physician at 40.
That's all.
Um,
Just
that's
ask.
all I'm that's all I'm advocating for. And they, men can, and between them and their physician, they can decide what route they want to go. Let's do a PSA test at 45, or let's wait until you're 42, or whatever the case is. I'm just advocating for them to have a conversation. Start.
You're so brave, God, because I can't imagine. You're so brave because I know when I was going through it initially, and I've said this a few times, it's a piece of you that want to just go hide it and don't tell anyone like you've done something wrong.
Absolutely.
It's like,
Absolutely.
I don't know if I know this,
You
but
are spot on.
but I fought against that, and I'm so happy you fought through this.
Would love to be able to, like, just if I can just get through to one person to have a conversation. I have a friend of mine. I've been friends with him for 30 years or so. He was having some symptoms, and so he reached out and messaged me, and I'm like, talk to your doctor. Like, talk to him. And he had a conversation with his doctor. They had a PSA test, and he's a couple years older than me. And come to find out, he's got stage 2 prostate cancer. And he's probably going to have it removed and that kind of thing. But, if somebody's asking questions, I'm always going to direct them to talk to the doctor. Always. Just have a conversation. That's all I want.
Of your selflessness. For years, I taught servant leadership. That's what you're doing, dude. Servant leader. You're leading. You're a servant leader, and you're giving of yourself, putting the needs of others in front of yourself. So, thank you for being a servant leader. You are a servant leader. I mean, for years I taught it and I facilitated it, but you are one in the flesh. So thank you for being a servant leader, man. And you're the man. You're the man. Let me thank you for doing this, and
of course,
nothing but love for you, man.
I appreciate you so much, and I love your podcast.
Let me leave you with this caveat, this disclosure, as you will. I'm not a doctor, just a black dude who went through the experience. If you're going through this, contact your doctor. Don't listen to me. I'm getting my advice, and it's just advice. It's not medical advice. It's just one dude sharing his experience and trying to share a little knowledge along the way. So contact your doctor.